evening. My name is Marisa Beck. The Trump shock and its ripple effect in global markets are forcing Canada to think differently about the country's economic sovereignty. Given the break in Canada's most important trade relationship, the imperative for Canadian governments right now is to identify resilient engines of economic growth and prosperity and to build new, diverse trade relationships. What does this focus on economic sovereignty mean for Canadian climate policy? Are there tensions between growing Canada's economy, making it less dependent on US trade, and decarbonizing it? Is it possible for Canada to do all these things at the same time? What my colleagues and I at the Canadian Climate Institute find is that there are actually sizable overlaps between these objectives. And it's in these overlaps that there are tremendous opportunity for Canadian leadership. So I'm going to be discussing 3 areas where both economic goals and climate goals naturally point in the same direction and are actually reinforcing each other. First area of overlap. Let's talk about clean energy and why Canada has what the world needs right now. Yes, the global clean energy transition is still happening, in fact, more than ever. The world is shifting to clean energy with or without the US. While America backtracks, acceleration is happening at the global scale. The International Energy Agency says that this year, 2/3 of all capital, global capital going into the energy sector is going to clean technologies, topping $2 trillion just this year, and the trajectory is upward. The thing is, government policy is not the main driver of this transition, of these investments. The credit goes to technological progress and simple economics. What I'm talking about is cost. The cost of solar panels, wind turbines, batteries are dropping. They're dropping fast, and they keep on getting cheaper the more we use these technologies. At the same time, we see demand for electricity going up with the electrification of industry, households, transports. Who here has an electric car at home or is heating their home with a heat pump? You wouldn't know it from the headlines necessarily, but global electric vehicle sales are soaring. In 2024, every 5th car sold worldwide was electric, and in China, it was every 2nd car. Canada is in a great position to take on a leadership role in this emerging clean energy economy. The country has what the world needs right now: critical minerals to build batteries, solar panels and EV charging stations, and also an already largely clean power grid, thanks to large hydro generation and nuclear power. If Canada plays its hand right, this clean energy transition will benefit our economic sovereignty. Canada's abundant clean electricity is a plus in the competition for industrial investment, but we need to build more made in Canada clean power fast to attract new investment that reduces emissions from industry, buildings, transport, while also supporting growth in new industries, such as artificial intelligence. Because every talk right now has to mention AI at least once. These are 2 engines of Canada's clean growth right here: building out clean electricity systems and developing a critical mineral value chain. Those 2 pillars are key to an autonomous Canadian economy, and they are key to a decarbonized future. Second area where Canada's economic goals and climate goals naturally align: trade diversification. While the US is actively backing away from climate action, major potential trading partners for Canada, the EU, the UK, but also China and India, are leaning in. And to stay competitive in these markets, Canada must not abandon its climate policies. First and foremost, the industrial carbon price. Yes, the carbon price for industry has not been axed. It is alive, and it's Canada's most effective tool to cut emissions and to direct investment in clean technologies. It also makes Canadian companies more competitive when building these new trade relationships outside of the US, Let's take Europe as an example. Starting in January, the EU will have in place a carbon border tax. That means that it will impose a carbon tariff on imports that don't already have a price on carbon at home. Canada's industrial carbon price will therefore reduce the charges for Canadian products at the EU border. But it's not just Europe. China's national carbon market is set to expand significantly to include new sectors like steel, cement, and aluminum. India's new carbon market will come online next year, and these carbon markets in major economies will change global trade. And Canada, having had an industrial carbon price in place for a while now, is a step ahead here when it comes to building competitiveness in this changing world economy. Talking about trade and sovereignty, another approach to making the Canadian economy more autonomous and more resilient is upping interprovincial trade within Canada. Yet again, this goes hand in hand with reducing emissions when we're thinking about integrating Canada's electricity systems or integrating Canada's industrial carbon markets. That kind of integration, a more integrated Canada, will mean more efficient electricity systems, a more efficient carbon market. It's a win-win situation. Third area of overlap. When we're thinking about synergies between economic sovereignty and reducing emissions, we have to talk about clean tech innovation. Innovation and entrepreneurship are key drivers for long-term resilient economic prosperity. But where is innovation happening these days? It's happening in clean tech. Think of batteries and their recycling. Think of technologies that help industries electrify, industries like steel and mining. These innovations surely reduce emissions, but they also make the economy more productive overall. An electric car or a heat pump overall uses a lot less energy than their conventional counterparts. Canada must get better at transforming these clean tech innovations into global market leadership for climate benefits and economic benefits. So to sum it up, the clean energy transition is changing the global economy quickly and irreversibly. Most economies around the world, except for the United States, understand this because it makes economic sense. So striving for leadership in the global clean energy transition is one of the smartest ways for Canada to play to its strength and deliver both economic sovereignty and a safer, more resilient, and competitive Canada. Thank you.